I wanted to introduce our next long assignment, which is long 2. This assignment is being called Noun. That's what it sounds like, person, place, or thing. We're going to be working on making triptychs as a structure for what to photograph, and then we're going to have some new tutorials for some more techniques on how to process our images. I'm going to read through the document for our long 2 assignment Noun, our Google Doc, and then sample over some examples of what I mean by person, place, or thing, and some of the parameters of the assignment. And then I'm going to show you the tutorials that you'll be referencing for some of the technical requirements for this assignment. Now, we are continuing our technical work while transitioning to some concentration on some concepts. So some more of the conceptual sides of photography. Please follow the instructions carefully. We're going to be creating 3 separate triptychs, so 3 different series of images, each one of them containing 3 images. So for series 1, you're going to photograph a person, place, or thing. I don't mind what order that's in. And in this series, you're going to address what I call and what's considered an art, formal connections between the 3 images. Formal meaning composition, color, line, shape, something that threads those 3 images. So the example I used for this first series is right here in this image, and I'm going to go ahead and look at that image larger here. Let me go to that here. This is a painter named Mark Rothko, and this is called the Central Triptych in the Rothko Chapel, and this was done in 1966. Now, these aren't photographs, this is just an example, and these aren't person, place, or thing, but I wanted to use it as a way of talking about formal connections. So if you'll notice these 3 panels here, they're all related. There's a symmetry happening here, which is a formal element. They're the same color. They are these 2 panels are the same shape, size. These 3 fit together, and they're all in this portrait mode. So there's a connection, threading and connecting these 3 different objects and creating a triptych so they go together and they're meant to be seen together. Now, if we go back to our document here, we look at series 2. I again want you to photograph a person, place, and a thing in any order. In this series, I want you to make a narrative connection between the 3 images. This would be like telling a story, so a story that threads the 3 images together. I'm going to use this series here. It's a series of images taken by the artist Dwayne Michaels. It's called Andy Warhol, 1972, and I want you to notice Andy Warhol's looking at the camera, then he starts shaking his face, and then he shakes his face beyond recognition. Now, the 3 images, in my opinion, do a nice job of sequencing together and talking or conveying what might be an event, a story of some sort, maybe the witnessing of something that you wouldn't want to look at anymore. So that's why I chose this one as a narrative, and I think that's the most straightforward of the 3 triptychs you're going to make. Now the third one, this one's going to be the most trying and the most complex, I think. This is, again, you're going to photograph a person, place, or thing in any order, But this one, you're going to make a conceptual connection between the three images. What I wrote here is the idea represented by the images resides outside of what's actually depicted. Now the series I used as an example for this is a triptych made by the artist. Let me see if I can find this a separate way. By the artist Ai Weiwei. He's a Chinese artist. And if you notice in the image we're looking at, we see Ai Weiwei. This is a self-portrait of him, and he's dropping, or this person, this man, is dropping this face. I guess we don't actually know it's Ai Weiwei yet, but if you read the title and you know that this is Ai Weiwei dropping a Han Dynasty urn, 1995. Now, what was an image originally when you looked at it without knowing maybe the artist and the title of the piece was someone dropping a vase. But once you know that that dropping is of a Han Dynasty urn, suddenly the image becomes deeper, more conceptual. There's something outside of these three images you need to know and understand in order for the image to become more meaningful. That's what I mean by conceptual connection between the three images. Now again, to reiterate, I made just a kind of visual example of what I meant by this assignment. So the formal series, person, place, or thing. Narrative series, notice I changed thing, person, place. Conceptual series, place, thing, person. You can do these in any order that you like. I just want each series to have a person, place, or thing. Now these are just parameters to help you through the assignment, so you have some structure. Now the asterisk here that I noted at the top of our instructions right here, the edited images, we're going to go through technically how to white balance all of our images. There's a series of tutorials that you can link to that will also be in our Google Classroom. And I've given you a variety of ways of doing this in Photoshop. This is in camera, and this is about carrying gray card when you do photography. But these first four here, or five, are different techniques with slight variations on the same idea of white balancing your images. So go ahead and start with this one up top. I think that one's it's fine, it's clear. They all have slight varying concepts, but they all explain in depth and do a good job of explaining what white balance is, and why you want to know how to do it. Now, I also want you to make some new kind of local edits, new creative edits. So we were working last week on doing burning and dodging. This week I'd like you to go through a series of techniques using the content aware tool, the patch tool, and the healing brush tool. Again, I've located a playlist. This one's going to start right away. I've started a playlist, but if you connect to this playlist, it'll link to here. All of these will have a content-aware patch tool, and I've given you a few different variations on the same idea. So if you have you can hear someone better, or you like how someone's presenting the information more clearly for you, you have some options here. Now, only 3 of those images need to have edits, so you can choose to do one content-aware edit on one image, a patch tool on another, and a healing brush on another one of those images. Now, the last one I want you to do is make at least an edit to one image using the clone stamp tool. And again, I've given you another link here. This is a series of different tutorials, and I think they're all very worthy. Some will get more technical than others, but they all explain the tool very well. Now, if you want to go above and beyond on this assignment, it's not required. These are a couple tutorials on how, if you like, to create a single image where all three of your images are on the same artboard or are contained within one image. So instead of having a series with 3 separate files and 3 separate images, you would create one single file and bring those 3 different images in and create your triptych that way. I'm not requiring this. If you'd like to go above and beyond and do that, these are great tutorials on how to get there, but I think it's a little advanced for us right now. Now, I want to real quick as well reiterate what I mean by conceptual, because I think this is the hardest, and I think this is a really good example of something that will also help us conceptually. And keep in mind that you may actually need a title for this triptych in order to make make this work or help us understand the conceptual side of what you're connecting with these 3 images. Now, this is a single image. It's actually a video, and this is a video by an artist named Jason Lazarus. I'll give you a link to him up here, or this is within his website. Now, this is a video, and when I play this video, it's just a straight video of a tree, or the top of a tree. Now, what's important is that you're looking at what looks like just an ordinary tree, and probably in your mind you read tree, and that's as far as maybe that image goes for you. Now, if you know the title though, which is up here, it says "The Top of the Tree Gazed Upon" by Anne Frank, While in Hiding, Amsterdam 2008. So this is a video. It was installed in the Spertus Institute in Chicago, downtown, and it's significantly different now. This image changes dramatically once you recognize that, oh, this was Anne Frank looking out and gazing at this tree. You start thinking about the Holocaust, you start thinking about World War II, and on and on and on. So suddenly this video of just a tree is transformed and becomes much richer and more complex.